Kailan po kaya makakarating si Captain Nervous din?
Wonder, pero text namin maya, tanungin namin. Pero I know malapit na yun kasi nag-open na rin siya ng Kadayawan doon and pinano na niya yung biyahe niya papunta dito.
Ano naman pong napag-usapan ninyo ngayon?
Actually, no, I was the latest to arrive today. Pagdating ko, as I entered the room, si Manong Pulong nandun nakaupo sa sahig, nagmamasahe na ng paa.
As usual.
Kasi nag-crash course talaga siya ng masahe, diba? So, sabi niya, oh, he's so tiny, pero he has a big heart for his family. So, ayun, pagpasok ko, nagmamasahe sa papa namin si Manong Pulong, and then, si VP naman, she was briefing him sa mga updates, sa mga kailangan niyang malaman. So, we talked a bit about politics kasi, syempre, that's his interest. Sinabi ni VP about yung mga ghost projects.
Flood control.
Flood control.
Anong sabi po ni Tatay Digong?
Ayun, madami siyang tanong about it, but of course, may limits din sa pwede namin mag-usapan sa and then, he shifted to family matters, mga bilin niya sa amin magkakapatid. Of course, may instructions sa bawat isa, especially kay Manong at the eldest son. Pero sabi naman namin na, di bale, hintayin mo na lang si PM Sebastian kasi mapunta na rin siya. And so, you can instruct us na sa mga bilin mo sa amin.
Can you share anything kung ano yung mga bilin? Mga hindi naman super personal.
Ano naman, yun pa rin, the first thing talaga, no, is to take care of each other. He emphasized the value of family and how important yung family bond is. Kasi ang hirap kung kalaban mo na lahat, kalaban mo kayo pamilya mo. So, he always reminds us to take care of each other as siblings and to look out for each other. Uy, ang pinudana, no, kay, wala kay, hindi ko na po doon kay, sabayan ako sa papa. Para ganado siya kay,
Duhami Wailigo.
Duhami Wailigo. So, yes, yan yung bilin niya talaga sa amin. Take care of each other, look out for each other, and always remember the value of family. Do not stray away from his teaching.
Gumiting.
Hindi mo daw kailangan ng signature.
Okay. Okay. With the marching order, we'll do it. Ibig sabihin po niya, dapat matanggal si Pangat. Anyway.
Legal, lagi company. Si, Alcantara. Doon lang kita kami ulitin dito. Pero alam mo, malala ko lang yung nasa-awal siya. Alam mo kung magkano ang allowance namin. Mas mayaman kasi governor ang kakay eh. Ang allowance niya, 100 pesos a month. 100 ah. So, malaki na yun. Ako, 60 pesos a month. Yung 30 para sa board and lobby, yung 30 allowance na ako. Nagkasama masahe. Ang breakfast namin doon, ano mo ba ang breakfast namin? Ha? Hindi, 1 peso 20 centavos. Sikat na yun. Meron ng itlog, meron ng taba, o meron ng spam, o kaya yung bacon. 1 peso and 20 centavos. Pero pag wala kaming pera, kami ni Digong, pumupunta kami nila. Karen namin from Manila City Hall, akyakin namin yung Quiapo Bridge, meron Chinese restaurant doon. Doon, bumibili kami ng fried rice. Alam mo yung fried rice na masarap yan. Alam mo magkano? 15 centimos. Pero tatlo na kami makakain yan. Kaya pupunta kami doon, bibili kami ng fried rice, babalik kami ng YMCA. Tatlo kami kakain ng fried rice. Ganun ang buhay namin si Digong. Kahit na governor ang kasa niya, mas makunat pa si Ilocano. Yun ang namin ni Digong. And we became friends. Ang tagal namin nagsama ni Digong. I left Davao 1986 when I was appointed by President Cory Aquino as the first Deputy Minister of Justice. Yan. Yun ang pumunta na ako ng Manila, pero I still went home. And eventually, I left Davao 1997. Ngayon, alam nyo, ang dami nagsasabi na si Digong anti-peace talks. Akala nila anti-peace talks si President Duterte. Akala nila nakalaban niya mga NPA. Akala nila kalaban niya yung mga nasa kalula. Alam niyo yan kasi ako naging chairman ng CRP Peace Panel. Panahon ni Cory, chairman ako. Panahon ni Ramos, chairman ako ng Peace Panel. Panahon ni GMA, ako Peace Panel chairman. Panahon ni Digong, ako Peace Panel chairman. At ang dami nagsasabi na si Digong kontra peace talk. That is not true. And I will tell you now what happened. We almost had a peace agreement. One day, in the year 2019, about November. Pero before that, nagkaroon na ng IPA, yung tinatawag na Interim Peace Agreement, approved by the military authorities, approved by the Peace Panel, and ready for signing. Okay? Ang dami nagsasabi na ayaw ni Presidente pirmahan. The truth is, one day, kami dalawa ni Senate ni Secretary Nani Bracanta, who was also a member of the Peace Panel, pinuntahan namin sa bahay ni President Duterte doon sa Malago. Malago ba yun? Yung lugar niya. Malago. Doon yung bahay niya. Pinuntahan namin. Sabi ko, Sir, ito, one lang. Baka sakali lang. Meron kami dito kako, yung Interim Peace Agreement between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the NDF-CPP-NPA. Now, this Interim Peace Agreement was approved by the panel and also by the military advisor. Kasama dyan si, ayan, kasama si Jun, kasama si Charlie Calvez, kasama din si Del Lorenzana, who was the Secretary of Defense. Approve yan, sir. It is called Interim Peace Agreement dahil under the agreement, magkakaroon, the President can grant amnesty sa lahat ng mga miyembro ng CPP, NPA, NDF. But subject to the approval of Congress. Kaya Interim Peace Agreement. So sabi namin, kami dalawa ni Secretary Braganza, sabi namin, Sir, are you willing to sign this document? Approve naman ng panel, approve ng military advisor. Chansa mo na, sir, to achieve peace for our country. Alam mo sagot ni President Duterte, ito hindi walang nakakala. This is probably the first group that will know about this. Sabi niya, sabihin nyo na pipirmahan ko yung Interim Peace Agreement basta uuwi dito si Joma Sison at siya ang pipirma. And I will sign it, sabi niya. Natuwa kami ni Juan, ni Nani. Sabi ko, Nani, okay ito. Matutuwa rin ako yung mga NPA. Kasi alam mo, under that peace agreement, bibigyan sila ng economic assistance. And you know ang magiging economic assistance doon? Yung maraming mining claims. Si Tim Borja, meron siyang 5 mining claims. And he offered 3 of his mining claims. Ibigay niya sa CPP, NPA, NDF. Sa kanila na yan, para merong hanap buhay ang mga NPA. Sinabi ko kay Lord Cos. Uy, bait pala ni Dave, sabi niya. So yun ang ang naging basta uwi si Juan. Sabi ko, boss naman, baka naman pagpunta dito ni Joma ma-dead ball. Sabi ko naman, ma-dead ball siya. Hindi, sabihin ko sa kanya, pagdating niya dito, sasalubungin ko sa airport. Sa ako mismo sasalubong sa aeroplano. Sabi niya. So with that, we went to the Norwegian Embassy. And informed the Norwegian number, who was the third-party facilitator. Sabi namin, the President is willing to sign the agreement provided Joe Masison will agree to come home and sign it. Natuwa ang Norwegian embassy. Dahil gusto nila magkakaroon ng peace agreement. So, ang sabi nila, you give us time. We will talk to Joe Masison. So, they went. Inuusapan nila. That was November, we will talk to them. December, they came back to us, Islado, yung nag-represent sa peace talk namin, sabi niya, Joma agreed to go to the Philippines and sign the agreement. Oh, okay lang. Tuwang-tuwa kami, di ba? Pero sabi ng Norwegian government, before we can fly Joe Masison to the Philippines, we have to get the clearance of the U.S. government because Joe Masison was categorized as a terrorist. So kailangan ng clearance ng U.S. government kasi pag ginawa namin na walang clearance ng U.S. government, baka tirahin nila yung aeroplano na sasakyan ni Joma. So, sige, okay, we will wait. We waited. And here comes the saddest part of the story. 2019, December, meron ng agreement. Lilipat si Joma, subject to the clearance from the U.S. government. Pupunta rito, pipirma niya ng ano. Ang tagal dumating yung clearance. What happened? Pagdating ng March 2020, ano nangyari? Alam niyo ang nangyari? COVID! Na-COVID! Kaya, tinamahan si Joma. And eventually, he died. Ganun ang nangyari sa peace process. Talagang, sabi ko, hindi talaga swerte ng Pilipinas na magkaroon ng peace agreement.